G'day fellas, and welcome to a casted game. Spawning in on the north side of the map, playing in the colour red as the Holy Roman Empire. It's PTA! I was meant to go down a little bit lower. This is the mouse saga from the earlier video that I did. I'm sure you guys remember I was talking about my mouse not really working. Sometimes I try and zoom in and you can see it kind of zooms out a little bit. I haven't fixed it yet. I gotta fix it though, that's kind of important. And on the south side, playing in the colour pink as the Ottomans, ladies and gentlemen. It's Big Brain. Welcome. Welcome. We are here on Prairie. Now, Big Brain also goes by the name of Louis MT. If you don't know who Louis MT is, well, I wouldn't be surprised because this guy, he's been a little bit under the radar for many people. Not many people know about this guy. And I'll be honest, I didn't know about him until maybe 2 weeks ago when I was like, who's this guy that's ranked 3 on the ladder named Louis MT? That was pretty much it. That's my story. And I'm sticking with it. But anyway, how you guys doing? Welcome. I'm looking forward to this game. This is obviously a ranked game. We're here. This is on the new patch. Not a whole lot of changes really happened after the, I guess you'd kind of call it like a micro patch, wasn't it? It was just, you know, they moved down the Malian cattle numbers from 100 down to 75, I think it was, which I'm going to be honest, it's kind of crazy. Like, it seems like a lot, right? Like that was almost unnecessary, I'm going to say. But anyway, we got no Malians this game, so it's not really relevant, but let's talk a little bit about what we expect to see this game, what we expect to happen this game, because we've got ourselves a bit of a classic matchup, I would say. It's starting to feel that way. We're seeing a lot of Ottomans versus HRE. I think that's a HRE. They've slowly and steadily become better on open maps. And by the way, can we have a look at this beautiful double scout opening coming through at the moment from Louis? Really nice stuff. Plenty of sheep that he's already gathered up. That's going to mean he doesn't need to move into Anatolian Hills. By the same token, PTA going to be doing the same thing. Double scout opening from him. 12 sheep behind him on the backside. 8 sheep coming into the town center right here. So really nice stuff there. Coming out from both of these guys. Going for the double scout opening. And I think that's pretty wise to do on a map like this where there's just so many sheep. But when it comes to your starting vizier point, Anatolian Hills used to be a favorite among many. But it fell out of favor. People realized meta drums was kind of good, right? You can get a meta for free. It adds quite a bit of oomph to your army. Gives you this little bit of extra speed as well, which is always nice to have. But the one thing that we haven't seen, and I keep pushing, I keep advocating for it, and no one's doing it. It's field work. Field work is the very first vizier point that you can get, where you actually get 2 imams. They gain the ability to have like this AoE heal. It's really not that good. I mean, I imagine maybe it's good when you've got like 60 units or something like that, because they're all healing 60 health a second. But remember, it doesn't stack. So if you have like 10 imams, they're not all doing it. It's only the one that's doing it, or you know, each unit's only receiving that buff once. And in addition to that, it doesn't get affected by herbal medicine. So it's basically just a stock standard one health per second heal that you've got on all of your units that are in radius. And you might think, okay, Drongo, that sounds pretty terrible. And yeah, you might be right. But the real bonus, in my opinion, is not that you get that extra, not that you get that extra healing, but rather that you get the 2 imams. And that's really what sets it apart. Because against a civilization like the HRE, which we can see that he's playing up against at the moment, they're going to be looking to try and snag early relics. So what you can do is you can look to try and take some of those relics away, try and deny them. You know, often when we're playing against the HRE, one of the big goals that we talk about once we reach, you know, the diamond level, the conqueror level, is that instead of just playing your strategy, you have to start playing against your enemy's strategy. And the big part of that are these relics. Denying these relics, whether you're walling them out over on the east side, or whether you're picking them up or sending army over to them here in the center of the map. You just want to be denying them, irrespective of whether your enemy goes Regnitz or Burgrave. You just don't want your enemy to do it because you don't want them to have those relics. Now, interestingly, one of the things to note is we see here there's no military school. And this, to me, already signals, you know, what we've got going on right now. I suspect with the resources that we've got in the bank at the moment for Louis, he's probably going to be looking for a wheelbarrow as soon as he ages up, which is a wise choice. Doesn't have to invest in the mill. But oh my god, that's a lot of vills on gold. If you ever had any questions about the strategy coming in for PTA, have no further questions. Let's just say that much. That is a lot of vills on gold. But yeah, it makes a lot of sense to be picking up an early wheelbarrow here. We do see the vills moving over. So now that he's got that 50 wood, I would expect that we do see the wheelbarrow coming through. So doing the right thing here. You can sneak in this wheelbarrow very easily, and it's going to net you a huge efficiency gain, so pretty smart move there from Louis to do that. But my suspicion is he's going to go fast castle here. Now, I'm just going to hope that by going fast castle, he's going to start thinking outside the box a little bit more. I'm still waiting for players for it to catch on. I want to see that field work coming in. Even if you don't put those 2 relics into your mosque immediately, just take 2 relics off the map. you're denying a Holy Roman Empire player 2 relics. That's 2 relics that they can use for their outposts with Springwoods, their keeps, with their cannon emplacements, or just to gather up gold if they've got the Regnitz Cathedral, or even if they've got the Burgrave. It's still 80 gold, right? Like, it's good. It's good. So I'd love to see that coming through, because I think for going for a fast castle strategy like this, which is definitely a wise move, in my opinion. I think against the HRE, you have to go fast castle with them, because you can't deal with the man-at-arms spam unless you go for crossbows. I mean, you can deal with it, but it's so much harder than it needs to be, right? Like, you get out 5 crossbows. I mean, you guys would have seen that game that Marine Lord played up against the HRE. He just made like 5 crossbows, and that was it. the whole attack is just completely shut down within the space of like a minute, just because the crossbows come out. And we can see that at the moment, we've got Louis, who is beelining 100% to that marker. So I'd expect he goes for the MIA. Probably looks for a couple of crossbows, but one of the big things that I'm really looking for, I'm really hoping for, is that we see those imams come out, because when those imams come out, it's going to mean that he can challenge relics that are on the map without making a monastery, and he's going to be able to walk out his imams before he even ages up. And that's the key thing, right? Like, if you were to talk about a list of things you need to do to collect relics, okay, what do you need to do? I need to age up, I need to drop a monastery, I need to train a monk, and then I need to walk to my relic. Okay, but the key difference here is that the Holy Roman Empire does all of that stuff front-loaded. It trains its prelate from its town center, so it cuts out the middleman, and then it can walk it out there, and then as soon as the age up comes through, boom, it picks up the relic, walks it back, and that's what makes the Delhi so powerful. That's what makes the HRE so powerful, and I posit that is what is going to make the Ottomans so powerful with this fast castle timing. And we do see a double stable coming down, so it looks like he's going to begin going for a potential knight opening, and I do like this a lot. Obviously, not going to be stopping around for any kind of horsemen or anything, anything like that. Just going to be playing it pretty standard. Interestingly, still no vizier point. We've been riding on his perspective for a little bit. I've been waiting for that loud bell to go off, and he pulls the boar, but he's got to be careful. Louis might actually lose. He's going to lose his scout here. So Louis losing 2 scouts early on. Obviously, the other one was over on the gold mine, so he's going to be playing in the dark here. I'm sure he can suspect that there is going to be a Burgrave coming down right there. We obviously saw it earlier. He hasn't, but he's going to know. He's going to know. And the age up about to come through here for Louis. It's going to be the MIA. No real surprises there. And so with that, he's gearing up at the moment for knights. I'm very interested to see that there's actually no archery range here. I would have expected like crossbows, but maybe he's just looking to play a little bit more of a mobile style, because knights do well against men-at-arms until they've got their upgrades. Once the men-at-arms have got their upgrades, blacksmith coming in as well. There's the vizier point. What does he go for? It's going to be the imams. He does it. He does it. It's happening. It is happening. So this enables him. He doesn't make the monastery. He doesn't have to train the monks. Instead, he walks them out here straight away, and you can see he's heading out towards relic number 1, heading out towards relic number 2. It's going to get scouted by his enemy. At the same time, the men-at-arms are coming here, and this is going to give a great distraction for him, because he's going to be able to delay this even further. You can see Imam coming out. He's got to be careful not to lose them. But at the same time, even if he can just pick up 1 relic and do an instant convert, that men-at-arms is going to have to fall back the other way. You can see him now heading out towards these relics, because the ones in the middle have been taken. That's the reason why he's over here. 2 relics already taken for our HRE player. We can see he's built the monastery in the back. So what does Louis do? He looks to try and come out, but the men-at-arms going to force him back. He realizes he can't do it anymore. Second men-at-arms, or rather second monk, coming out over on this east side. MIA. It's complete. Mangonel immediately in training. Stable coming out. He's going triple stable here. I don't know why we can still see the blueprint right there. He's going to have to fall back for now. It's okay, though. He still denies this a second relic. Wallalot comes through immediately. Scout going to be able to escape it. A little bit of a waste of a Wallalot, if I'm honest, because now he doesn't hold it. Now the men-at-arms can just come in and look to rinse him. But still, beautiful control coming through from PTA. Knight numbers starting to increase. He's heading to the back of the base. He knows there's men-at-arms behind here. Knight's looking to try and find a way. He's actually going to head out. He wants that relic. He knows how important that relic is. He's just fighting for it. Men-at-arms continuing to move around. Managed to make it underneath the town center. Over on that east side. Relic going to go down. Not sure where he's heading. Not sure why he was heading in this direction. I would have been taking it down here onto the edge of the map. Make it a little bit harder for my enemy. We can see the knights really struggling. Louis, right now, maybe could have gone into crossbows a little bit more efficiently, perhaps. Maybe had a bit more of an effective opening. Well, right on board with his enemy. Yet to pick up all these relics, but we do see the prelates coming out. So maybe he hasn't thought it through 100% yet. I mean, judging from the opening here, you'd have to say that the vizier point, the extra vizier point going into going into the imams, not necessarily questionable, Anatolian Hills coming in as well. Just when you thought 22 sheep, or rather 14 sheep wasn't enough, he pulls in the extra 8 sheep. Obviously doesn't want to go over to farms. He's not going to need them. But now that the knight number's starting to rise, now very easily PTA could start mixing in spearmen here, and he'd be fine. But you can see the men-at-arms getting absolutely shredded by the knights. Relic numbers at the moment. Did he end up picking this one up over on the west side? No, he didn't. Look at that. All relics getting denied at the moment by PTA. So even though he's got the imam out, the double imams, only able to snag away 1 relic, which isn't terrible, but at the same time, you would hope for at least 2, especially this one that's closer to the base. Men-at-arm numbers now really starting to increase. He's up to 14 men-at-arms. He's done a great job to secure all the relics. So maybe what he could have looked to have done was, I think, a military school sooner, and then just like be a bit annoying over on the gold mine, draw those men-at-arms back, because you got to remember, sure, like going for a military school early delays you, but it also delays your enemy, because they're going to have to be dropping down outposts or healing up units, or, you know, they're going to have to issue some sort of response here. And at the worst case, if it's men-at-arms out here, then that gives you time to get those imams into position to look to snag away those relics immediately. I don't think you're ever going to beat the HRE up to the castle age. They're just way too quick. That extra 40% bonus, but you can see right now the men-at-arms moving out. They do have that extra 6 damage against heavy units, so expect him just to try and look to get his charges off and then maybe pick off individual units. Scout number 1 might go down here. Indeed it will. Also going to be able to pick up a men-at-arms. He's got to watch the charge, though. You can see the damage that comes in on those knights. Jeez, that's so much damage. He needs crossbows at this point. He needs crossbows. Mangonel's come out. You can see he's healing up. He's got the double imam still out. He managed to keep both of them alive. But all relics, with the exception of 1, go over to PTA over in the middle of the map, continuing to clean up those reinforcements. Mangonel firing off onto the front line, doing a beautiful job, but unfortunately, imam going to go down. Mangonel also going to be going down. He's trying to hold on, but still this mass men-at-arms strategy is working at this level. It's kind of crazy. You know, you got one of the world's best players here, Louis MT. Sure, he wasn't in the Wallalol, but you can see how much he's struggling here up against these men-at-arms from PTA. It might not look like everything is under control, but I'm sure he feels like, this is fine. This is, you know, the house is on fire, but this is okay, right? I'm fine. Everything is fine. And he just to find some gold down to the south as well. Knight number's actually pretty good. Decent micro coming out from Louis as well. Pulling back those lower health knights. I don't know where his imam is. I think he's lost the imams, which is not good, especially when you got micro as good as Louis. Back in the middle of the map, though. More pickups coming through. He actually manages to take out the prelate before the sacred site gets captured. And now look at the knights actually holding very well against the men-at-arms. The secret counter against the men-at-arm attack. I mean, I haven't seen this, but I feel like you could probably do this with every civ, right? You just go castle age and make knights. I remember watching the 3v3 tournament that's happening at the moment, hosted by EGC TV, the Winter Championship. And watching those men-at-arms go up against French knights, you would think the men-at-arms were actually secretly carrying spears. That's how good they are. But these castle age knights, these are a different breed. You can see he's also picking up +1 attack. Mangonel also going to help out. Knights come in, get the charge off. He loses a knight for it, though. Never know if that's really worth it. Next Vizier point comes through. Does he go for Janissaries? No, Janissaries would be stupid. He's got no military schools at this point. An interesting style coming out from Louis. The fact he's not going into the military school at all. Just playing the Ottomans like a standard civilization. Over on that west side. Still under attack. Loses to Mangonel. No real surprise there. I'd almost be tempted to say just make trebuchets, bro. The Mangonels just get absolutely rinsed. So what does Louis see at the moment? We can see knights moving out. Single knights. Louis looking to try and outplay his enemy here. Still under attack in the base, and all sacred sites are taken. Louis under pressure here. PTA just really building up a nice little lead. Making only men-at-arms throughout this game. Prelate production is going absolutely ham. He's looking to secure the sacred site over to the west. Deny that sacred victory from coming through. But we do see the meta coming out now. Now this is meta has been trained. It's not through from the Vizier point. I don't know where he spent that Vizier point. It could be something like Siege Works, maybe. Not 100% sure. No. I do apologize. That is the meta coming through from the point. It didn't have speed before, but now it's got the meta drums. So he's gone for 3 tier 1 points right now. He is really playing a very, what's the word? A very all-in style here. If he doesn't hold this defense, and I think that's probably speaking to the type of play style that he thinks is going to work here, right? Like he's not going into military schools. He's basically saying, I need all my units and I need them all now. I'll worry about my win condition later. I'll worry about getting out those things. But, I mean, at this point, you're up 10 villages. What? I don't know. I actually don't know why. Has PTA stopped making villages? He hasn't been losing. I mean, we can see worker kills. 7 worker kills coming through from the Ottomans. So maybe I missed a knight somewhere. Maybe there was a bit of a raid that came through. But I guess my issue is that you've got all of this gold that's coming in at the moment for our Holy Roman Empire player. 420 gold passive against the 80 gold that you've got coming in. Meta on the front line. Got to be careful. He falls back from the position. Sacred Site looks like it's going to be staying in control of PTA for the moment. We do see the first spearman has made its way out onto the field as well. More knights moving across the field. And I feel like at this point in time, you're just incentivized to keep making knights until you start seeing any spearmen. But now you got to really start worrying. Now that those prelates are out, that's where the big trouble starts. Because with the herbal medicine, we did see it came through from PTA. He's going to be able to heal all those units up very, very quickly. Back towards the base of our Ottoman player. Still not a single military school is made. Just playing it like a standard civilization. A second mosque has come out, and he's actually researching herbal medicine here. He's got plenty of scholars out, and keep in mind, all of these scholars have got field work. Now, when it comes to field work, as I said before, it doesn't stack up. So you can apply it once with a single scholar per unit, and that's it. But obviously, the herbal medicine works like any other civilization. And now, those sacred sites are being neutralized. I'd love to see some spearmen coming out, and there's the spearmen. Veteran spearmen, 8 spearmen at the moment. So this should be more than enough to help offer a helping hand over here. Beautiful micro coming in. Able to take down plenty of villages. Oh my lord, look at the villages that have gone down. 10 villages so far. Meta arm numbers. And I definitely feel like PTA just didn't know how to finish off this game. You know, like he was looking in a very solid position, but where does he transition to from here? Should have he gone into Rams? Should have he made a keep? I'm not 100% sure because he got cleaned up 100%. There's no two ways about it, but now the Knights coming through. We'll ride on board with PTA and see how he spots this out. We might even head into the cinematic mode shortly because these guys look intent to begin battling it out. The numbers here, though. Look at this. What are these men-at-arms doing? They need to be back over at the base right now. Villagers getting cleaned up everywhere, making sure that he's getting that speed buff as well. Mangonel hovering around, looming around. And these men-at-arms. PTA, what are you doing right now? You could be cleaning this up. You've got everything that you need to clean this up back at home. And all 3 sacred sites now taken by Louis. This is a massive twist in this game. Louis was looking like he was going to lose this game, but speaking of losing this game, get off my screen right now. I don't need to neutralize a sacred site. I need you off my screen, please. The men-at-arms inside the base of our Ottoman player, chasing away villagers. And you can see the mobility of this army is really going to play into it now. This is where it matters. And look at the knight numbers, 28 numbers for Louis. Villagers continue getting chased. They got to stay on the move. Villagers, stay on the move. Don't stop moving. Don't stop. Nah, that's DMCA'd. Don't stop moving. Can you feel the grooving? I know I can, and I know right now that PTA definitely can, because he is about to clean up. This is a huge mistake coming out from PTA. Had he just circled back around over towards his base, fought with the spears, he'd be okay. But now he's going to lose all of the men-at-arms. There's too many knights here. He's got 23, 22 men-at-arms. There's 30 knights. That's way too many. And PTA makes an absolutely critical error here, and this may cost him the game. This may just cost him the game, because the mobility coming out from the knights here is going to be way too much. Mangonel firing off a shot, not going to matter at all. And behind this, I mean, where does PTA go from here? He's got Springalds out. But what are the Springalds even... Springalds for what? Sure, Mangonels, like, ooh, whoop-de-doos. Mangonels. You've got a whole bunch of men-at-arms. Who cares about Mangonels? Right now, 30 spearmen. Oh, my lord. Is there a potential that we see, like, a 4-range archery switch or something like that? Look at the Imam helping out, dude. Just holding his hands up in the air. He's like, you shall not kill... The knight, on the other hand, he's going to kill up to 32 knights now for our Ottoman player. And definitely, I mean, this is a new way to play Ottomans. This is for sure. This is never before seen. And I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I mean, it doesn't really build into the Ottoman bonus. You know, this is the way that Kasva used to play it in the very beginning of Age of Empires 4 when the Ottomans came out. Kasva was like, you know what? I'm not going to make military schools. They're kind of trash. And it seems like Louis might agree with him. Now he's going to spot all the spearmen out here. He just charges right into it. What an absolute Chad. He's like, you know what? I'm just going to fight him. I'm just going to fight him. And I think he falls back. He realizes he's like, you know what? They got +2 melee. They got +2 melee attack. I'm not going to deal with it. But Louis got the same thing. And Louis got the extra melee armor as well. So he's up to 8 melee armor. Springald's continue to fire off. Mangonel's down here on the backside. Remember, there's no ranged units here for PTA. And he's just making full spearmen now. Is this it? Are we going to see full spearmen against full knights? Which one wins? Because he's literally just making full spearmen. He's up to full 50 spearmen, 37 knights at the moment. Look at the Springald trying to bait out a couple of units here. You can probably take out that meta. Looks like he's holding the melee bonus still for the moment. We're going to enter into the cinematic mode because I can feel it coming. I feel it coming, ladies and gentlemen. It is time. Mangonels firing off their shots. Knight numbers looking pretty decent here. At the same time, Scholars on the backside going up against the full surround here from the Spearmen. Where are those Prelates, though? Those Prelates need to be called to the front line. He's got the heals coming off, but at the same time, we do see that field work, doing absolute work. Mangonels coming through in the Knight numbers, overwhelming the Spearmen completely. Now, for anyone who's in the comments like, oh my god, he went full Spearman, Knights are so overpowered. Just remember, he lost like 40 men at arms for free. He lost 40 men at arms for free. He should have been fighting with 40 extra men at arms. Sure, the Knights won. Yeah, it looked crazy, but when you think about the army values right there, Louis had so much more value. He basically had even numbers, which is kind of crazy, right? Like, when you think about it, just the difference between it. And we got a brief look there, but Louis MT going to be victorious. What an absolute game from Louis. Very well played. PTA almost had it. One mistake. Those men-at-arms going to the enemy base. You're playing against mobility, PTA. You can't be moving around the map like that. You're going to get caught. And indeed he did. Fellas, thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Goodbye.